watch me while I sleep. Don't require your belief. Offering silence but no relief. Can you scream without a sound? Like the freeze that's coming down. Barren space where nothing grows. A secret place where no one goes.
Chaos Springs Eternal is a Delta Green actual play. Delta Green by its nature deals with violent themes, disturbing imagery, and horrors beyond our comprehension. Now, if you wouldn't mind comprehending some horrors with us, I think you'll have a good time.
Can you feel me in the fall? Hold me from this epilogue. My hands are frozen in the snow. The eyes of corpses have no glow. Made these chains just for myself. Rambling about my mental health. Demons on this hazy hill. Only my soul is left to kill.
Hello, and welcome back to Chaos Springs Eternal. This is Season 1, City of Woe.
Whoa, it's been a minute.
It has been a minute for us in real life. We have not recorded since the beginning of December, and it's now the beginning of January. But meanwhile, our listeners are enjoying the little side, the Chaos Sprung a Leak, Part 2.
With
So-
Chaos Engine.
And hopefully y'all are enjoying that. I recognize that it is it's a side quest. It was designed to flesh things out and provide a different view of things.
I am so sad I wasn't able to show up because having listened to that first episode, that shit seemed so much fucking fun.
It was a little
The characters
wild.
were fun.
We had a good time.
And meanwhile, in my head, I'm already planning on Chaos Sprung League 3.
What?
And what that's going to be. Again, that'll probably come after this arc. But this might be a long arc, guys. Just heads up. Just heads up.
No
You
boy.
mean we're not getting back home this session?
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean, look, you possibly could.
that's fucked
can't-
up. That's
I can't wait for
fucked
us
up.
to bumblefuck our way back to Carrefour on accident like we did.
Him
in
even
last
having
arc.
left the house. You forgot about us, you son of a bitch.
We just show back up through the same portal he kicked us out of. We're like,
What the hell?
hey, Bat Dad, I hear no bell.
It
Waving
would
our
be-
fists around.
He just sends us back.
Just a constant loop.
You fucking
Uh,
idiot. We can keep doing this. How long can you keep doing this? Literally infinitely.
You know, that kind of works from a meta standpoint, though, because that's like when you're in a dream and then you wake up and you think you're not dreaming anymore, and then you realize you're dreaming again, and you're like, wait a second, I was a dream in a dream.
Shut up. You're not supposed to tell us about the last session.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to spin a top and nothing happens.
Yeah. Whew. Oh, man. Last episode, though, y'all spent some time with Tholen the Forsaken. After landing in the Dreamlands, you were sent there by a ghoul, one of Glomus's alleged buddies, who wound up taking Glomus in for crimes against ghoulmanity.
No,
You-
you can't.
Come on.
Oh.
You can't just drop that like
just
that.
say ghoul kind.
Ghouldom kind?
You saying he's a dom?
Are they?
Oh,
Never
hey.
mind.
Oh,
We were
I
talking
don't
about
want
tops,
that.
spinning
I
tops
know,
earlier.
speaking about spinning tops.
I don't want to be down by that guy whose first instant is like, "Oh, I'm mildly annoyed by something. I'm gonna send you to hell. I'm gonna send you straight to fucking hell."
Well, in fairness, the communication that Glomus had given him indicated that y'all had some questions about sort of the astral plane dreamlands because of some of the weirdness around Clementine, right?
Okay.
And so he was kind of like, well, I'm doing you a favor. Obviously, a very backhanded favor.
Me teaching my son how to swim by throwing him off the Hoover Dam.
Yes, that is a great, yep.
That is
You
good.
know, after you landed in the Dreamlands, you saw afar off a giant, which you now know is a Gug, who you also learned is a relatively recent addition to the Dreamlands, apparently, based off what Tholen had told you. You got to know Tholen a little better after his little riddle that he gave you, including you asked how long he's been there. And he'd been there for quite a while. He's been there since the 1880s. He's from California. You also learn that he's apparently Irish, and that he had searched for a treasure and wound up finding a cursed staff that was of two worlds, right? Of the Dreamlands and of the Earth, but more of the Dreamlands than Earth. And so he wound up kind of splitting his mind between two places. And it turns out that's pretty difficult. So he opted to stay in the Dreamlands. And so now he is bound there. And you've learned a little bit about others in Dreamlands, including the ghasts that occupy the Dreamlands. You had a lot of conversations as you continued traveling with Tholen, because Tholen kind of indicated that, well, if you're looking for a woman, your best option is to find the Pirate Queen on the island of Size. That's Sighs, not Size. And that he didn't quite know how to get there, but he thought, well, maybe if you get to the city Inquanoc, or Inquanoc, it's Inquanoc for our listeners and for our players, that Inquanoc might be able to get, you might be able to procure a map or even travel to the Isle of Sighs. What else? Lots of conversation with him. As you traveled with him. As you traveled with him further into the deepness and the darkness, you wound up looking over a sort of a giant, massive, cavern that you couldn't even see the ends of, but you saw various groupings of presumably ghasts, maybe other creatures, down on the floor of this, and the ceiling rose so high that you couldn't even really see the top. You are deep in the Dreamlands, in the deepest part that you've been in so far, and you're sort of as you've been traveling, you talked a little bit with him, and you wound up making a trade. Joel made a trade of his car keys, right, for a violin.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of a fun little trade. I appreciated that interaction and that back and forth, and I think that roughly puts us back where we are. He's toting a cart as you guys follow him, and you're sort of coming down these switchbacks into this cave. Again, just the size of this is almost incomprehensible, and there's not a lot of good ways for me to put, like, hey, how can I put words to something that's impossible to describe? So just like the biggest cave you can imagine, then like make that like a little bit bigger. So did I miss anything? Anything else?
Cave. So
it's a big cave.
I don't think you missed anything off the top of my head.
Oh, I from time to time you do hear the sound of like a metallic, metal on rock, scraping, loud, and it appears that might be the Gug in the distance.
Like scraping through the tunnels, right?
I mean, you can't see it, but probably that might be its like, mating call, or it could just be saying hello.
That's a fucked up greeting, and I don't think I'm going to partake in that, so let's make our way to this ghast village?
Yeah. Yeah, as you continue down the switchback, you do see, again, these camps, and you do notice, like, there are some what appear to be permanent structures, stone houses, maybe tents, some sort of like open air marketplaces, but it's almost like, clustered, and Tholen is kind of humming to himself as he leads you down. Go ahead.
Before we got much closer, could we have asked Tholen if there's anything we need to be wary of when like discussing anything with the guests?
Yeah, you could. You want to ask him that?
Yeah.
All right. He says, the guests will treat you nice as long as you're with me. So don't split off from me. And there are others, but they should respect everything. This is a peaceful place, as much as the Dreamlands can be peaceful.
Yeah, I don't like that little part at the end you put there, but we'll just roll with it, I guess.
And he, creaks his wagon forward. Again, he's kind of straining to keep the wagon, this cart back. so that it doesn't speed down some of these switchbacks, which are not terribly steep, but enough that you wouldn't want to lose control.
I think last
go ahead.
time I did mention that I was trying to help him in a way that he'd allow. Like, I'm not trying
Yes.
to yoink shit from his cart. I'm just trying to make sure, like, we're getting this thing down safely.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to mention that the gift that one other thing that you would learn that's kind of important is the flashlight that he gave you, the mag light. Which is as I think as Joel turned it on, it essentially has a limitless beam that goes on forever, and that lights up the thing that you pointed on. So it's sort of small spot, but enough that you can like actually identify stuff.
And it can cut through human flesh, right? And steel and any other work material like a lightsaber.
And anything evil gets banished when we cast the light on it.
Yeah.
Yep,
But we're
that's-
immune to it.
But we're immune to it.
Ooh, well, as you look down at your arm, you notice.
But yeah, I got you.
But yes, that what appeared to be just a regular mag light actually had some interesting properties to it.
We'll have to fuck around with that a little bit more later. Oh, but you wanted us to make some checks?
I was thinking about what sort of check would I want you to make. I guess like search maybe.
Okay. Could I actually roll history to see like what type of like material they're using these like stone and tent houses from?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I did it,
you
boys.
did it.
Dude.
Dude, the flow state transfers from Pool to Delta Green.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh well.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Well, with a critical on the history check with an 11 under 34, and then a 69 on his search
Nice.
check for Joel. So Marcia got we got a double critical, and then just a failure on Cyril's part for his search roll. Y'all are going to learn a lot. I would say that this is a combination maybe of as you come down, maybe Joel, this represents your sort of use of the flashlight, the things that you notice. The first thing that you notice is that it looks like most of the people down there most of the things down there are ghasts, but you do see occasional people, definitely humanoids, right? Not all that appear to be sort of the ghast, which, ghast, I was wrong about how close ghasts are related to ghouls. So like in Lovecraft, ghasts are sort of these, what would be the best way to describe them? Like almost like mole-like, rat-like people-ish. They're humanoid, but they're gross looking.
Yeah, they look a lot less wolf. They look a lot more. They almost look more undead, is how I
Yeah.
would put it.
Almost like zombies, but like the buff fast zombies.
Yeah,
Sort of maybe a little bit of sort of furriness.
But they're not
jagged
attacking
teeth.
us, right? Haha.
they got hooves
No,
too.
Well, you notice that it's like you see some ghasts interact with some of these more human-looking people, and they appear to be relatively peaceful. I mean, people are there's sort of communal, cooking areas. It appears that some people are sharing stews or some other sort of like roasted meat. There are what appear to be like marketplaces. People have booths up and they're buying and selling wares. What Joel notices is like there are few merchants and it's all bartering, and it is like weird stuff that they are bartering. I mean, like tin cans for penny candy. There's like loose metal hoops that are getting traded for anything that you could name. I mean, like a letter jacket, right? Like things are being exchanged, and it is just a smorgasbord, a hodgepodge, complete random collection. I mean, you see probably the most common things are like personal items, like glasses or watches or eyewear. I already said glasses or watches or like maybe keychains or hats. There's lots of hats. So you notice like a lot of commerce going on in some of these camps. The other thing that you notice is that like the edge of each of these sort of groups of camps is pretty like hard. It's a pretty hard stop. Like there aren't really clear defined trails between two camps, but within the camp there's almost sort of like an organization, and there's maybe like, I mean, the smaller camps you maybe see like 10 or 20 people, and the larger camps you may be seeing like 100 to 150 people, and then in between there are sort of like these empty spaces that again you don't see, I mean, like a ton of dust. It's mostly solid rock, but it doesn't appear that there's like marked out paths between these various groups. Noah, Marcy, with her critical on the history, the interesting thing about the architecture is you can't pin it down to any sort of time period, right? Like they're probably, you think they're using like a combination of stone and cement, and like there's occasional wood features, like some are like whole wood buildings that are very, they're not like modern, plywood and framed and that sort of stuff, but it's again sort of a hodgepodge of collections, and some things that are like built onto each other. So there's a couple of like 2-layer buildings, 2-story buildings where like the base is stone, and then they appear to have built like a wood floor above it. There's nothing like that you would say is primitive, but nothing modern. But you look around, and I think the thing that you notice is that there's not like a lot of local materials, right? There aren't a lot of trees down here, so anything wooden would have to be brought down, and even some of these rocks don't appear to be. I mean, these appear to be like not local cave rocks. These would have to be quarried somewhere else and brought down here, or somehow other. However they get them here. It does not appear to be like locally manufactured. So it appears that maybe the building materials are relatively scarce, and so people kind of use whatever they have.
God damn. So they're quarrying this stone from somewhere else, mainly, right?
You would presume so.
A lot of scavenging.
Yeah. Mark Cyril picks his nose and flicks the booger at the wall.
Sounds right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tholen, do you know what they like prefer to receive as trade? I know glasses, but I don't know if I have my like spare case on me, but like would that be like a commodity?
The value of a thing is what it means, what it provides, what it fulfills. And he you see that he has not put like the keys away. He's holding them in his hand, and he gives him a little squeeze. He's like, in here, it's all about the potential, Dream. The greater potential, then the greater thing that you can see. Glasses are popular. They allow you to see clearly what you want.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's all about sentimentality down here.
Sentimentality. Yes, that's a good way to think of it.
Well, damn, it's like the opposite of my family. Fuck yeah. All right. All right. Good to know. I think
Okay.
Joel's like cataloging like what he has that he like, if need be, like what do I have that means a lot that if I really need food I can get something to eat.
Marcy
Yeah.
looking down at her pins on her fucking leather jacket like, God fucking damn it. Or the jacket itself, honestly.
I wonder what they'd trade me for my orgonite.
No.
I would never get rid of my orgonite. Y'all crazy.
You've now reached sort of the floor, right? You've
Yeah.
gone. He's like, luckily the camp that I'm friendliest with is close, and he leads you, and it's it's a little winding ways as you pass by some of these encampments, some of the smaller ones, and there's relatively maybe you think maybe 100 total people here. And you do from time to time see people sort of leave one and go to another. You do see people like enter and exit houses. And so there is some activity here. But after a little while, he, maybe a quarter mile, half a mile, he leads you into a sort of mid-sized group. And at the edge, he's approached by some of the guests, and they come up to him, and one of them says, "Tholen, it has been some time." And he says, yes, it has. How are you? How are you, my friend? And he looks at Jal and he says, "You've brought new visitors?" Yes, they are. They are new to this land, this place. And I'm showing them around. What are your names?
We'll kind of look to Tholen to see, like, is it okay? Kind of be like, is it a good idea? Does he look like he's expecting an answer as well?
He's nodding and smiling, but a little absent-mindedly.
Okay. Yeah, hi, my friends call me Joel. Nice to meet you.
And he looks over at Marcy.
All right, no answer.
My name is Marcy.
And he looks over at Cyril.
Howdy, I'm Cyril.
And he says, "I am Thoxotir."
Foxhotir?
Thoxotir. Thoxotir.
Foxhotir. Okay.
Yes.
I thought you were saying Fox Ho Tier.
Foxhotir. No, Foxhotir is my mother. I am Thoxotir.
You are
and
the
he's
New Hampshire OTS.
Yeah, yes, you know of us. No, he smiles at you, and he his eyes have sort of gone milky, and he's got this sort of loose fitting jowls around his teeth so they kind of they are really gross in that they flap a lot extra as he speaks. And his teeth are extra sharp, and he's got this sort of fur that covers most of his sort of upper back and upper chest, but thins out as it goes to his forearms, down his arms, and he's got these long sort of elongated fingers. And he says, "If you are brought here by Tholen, you may enter our camp." And he invites you all. And he says, "We have some, if Tholen will pay your quarter fee." Tholen smiles. He says, "I have something for you, Thoxotir." And he holds up the keys. And though his eyes are milky, you see Thoxotir's face sort of brighten up as Tholen holds these keys out. And Thoxotir says, "Yes, Tholen, this will pay for many nights." And they exchange the keys.
What is this fee?
You have to pay to stay and use a room if we want to sleep here. Though it may take you some time to get used to sleeping. No, and then they provide some food, some small morsels. Better than the beans, I will say, although beans are still good.
So we just paid room and board.
Yes.
Oh. Then Joel will he's like, "Oh, look, would you look at that? Good old Joel helping us out again. Didn't even realize it. You're welcome." Joel will pick like at one of the strings, trying to just find a tune. Bing, ding. Bing,
But you did.
bing.
I mean, you did trade away your car keys, correct? Or are these just rando keys?
No, they're one of my sets of car keys. I got one at home.
Okay.
Everyone make alertness rolls real quick.
Oh boy. Oh god.
You always assume it's something bad.
Yeah, because I failed.
That's so fair, honestly.
Oh my gosh, not of you.
73 over
Got a
58.
fumble. Oh,
Zero,
zero,
no!
buddy.
Oh god.
Yeah, I mean, even with the fumble, I think all of you just sort of like, as you look at him hold these car keys, and a smile falls across his face, and his jowls sort of hang loosely beneath, sort of bright red, almost bloody gums. Maybe in the distance you hear like what sounds like an engine revving, maybe a 350Z.
Dude, your car's gonna be gone when you get back.
The unmistakable whine of a turbo.
Yeah, just a. But that's all. That's all you get from those failures.
I can almost hear her now.
I think we're both really distracted by how off-tuned the violin is in your hands.
I think more specifically, Joel is too busy trying to put on like a false sense of confidence while being in one of the most terrifying situations he's ever been in, if not the most terrifying situation he's ever been in. I don't know if he really like makes the connection while like he's trying to like look brave, but also like like being like, which one of these motherfuckers is going to try and eat me in the next hour?
Okay. What do y'all want to do here in this school camp? There's, I mean, like I said, I've described a few things. I've described a market, a place to eat, place to sleep, various, groups of people / gugs, or not gugs, sorry, guests, various people and guests. We can do like what I'm thinking of is, this is again where we're sort of almost in a more traditional, like TTRPG, like you enter you meet in a, what is it, bar?
Tavern.
Thank you. So you meet in a tavern, but this is a ghoul thing. So think about things that you would do in like let's just say like a Pathfinder game, things that you'd want to like, maybe you want to buy something. Maybe you want to gather information. Maybe you want to, murder someone secretly, or any one of these things. And
Sure.
it's again, to pull back the curtain, it's a little sandboxy. You guys know you have sort of an ultimate thing, and you could just sort of try and power through there. You could try and learn some more stuff. You could try and, learn a little bit more about the dreamlands, about any of those sorts of things. Again, this is where we're going to bring in some opportunities for you guys to roll, to be, give me creative things that you want to do. I'm going to put a little bit more on you guys for what you want to do next in the Dreamlands. This is a hub. Just imagine this is a hub with many paths forking off from it, and we can go down any one of those paths as far as you want.
All right, our priority should be finding Clementine, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, and also
Escape.
escape away to the island of Sighs.
Yeah, I think we need to
Information.
find
Any kind of
information
information.
on the island of Sighs. I think maybe going down to the market wouldn't be a bad idea. Seems
Yeah,
like
I'd
people
say-
are coming and going from there.
I kind of want to talk to some of the humans around here, just see what they have going on. I mean, do they have like the people that are around us? Are they in various like time periods clothings, or are they like? Do they have just kind of like rags on at this point?
There are a lot of various styles of clothing. I mean, a lot that most of it seems fairly modern, like t-shirt and maybe like some sort of khaki type of even like duck canvas type of pants. So like maybe hard to place exactly. It could be sort of any time in the 1900s. There's a handful that are more like rags. There are a handful of sort of older looking suits and things that are pretty like thread worn. Not thread worn. What am I thinking? Threadbare. You know what I mean?
Threadbare,
right?
thread worn, threadbare. Either or.
Yeah. I think those are real phrases people use, but they're very
Says Robot Dan. Yeah,
dingy,
These are
dusty
common
type
phrases.
of things. So not any one time period, you would think, but and then there's obviously the gugs not the gugs, the ghasts who walk around without any sort of clothing on. So they are just sort of fleshy animal type things. Again, humanoid, but kind of like, again, almost blind human zombie, but hairy.
Okay, so the freshman class is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
All right. I would like to go. Cyril would like to go down to the market.
Okay, Cyril wants to go to the market.
I'm heading down to the market, y'all. Are you gonna come with me, or we gonna split the party?
I'll go with him.
What's Tholing? I'll turn to Tholing. Where are you planning on going, buddy?
I have to unload some of my wares and find some things to bring to people. I have to replace that. And he points at the mag light that you're carrying. He's like, for the next time I have a riddle.
Do you do riddles often?
Whenever I meet a new person or group of people, I have to learn about them.
Looks like I'm going with you two, and he'll just go with Cyril and Marcy.
Okay, so like I said, there's a few stands. Some appear to be more focused on like selling, food. Some appear to be like random exchanging of items. So there's probably maybe a half dozen of these stands sort of in a row. And aside from the food one, the other ones don't appear to have any sort of theme. Tholen walks up to one though, and you see him begin like digging through his chest and pulling out various things from it and beginning to exchange those with the person there.
All right. Cyril will walk up to kind of the first booth that he sees.
Okay. There is a woman manning the booth. She's got sort of longer blondish hair, and she's leaning over. She's wearing a sort of like a dress that's almost really kind of hard to pinpoint. It might be wool, like a wool dress, maybe late 1800s, early 1900s type of thing. And she looks up at you as you approach, and she says, "Hi, I'm Maribel, and this is my stand. What are you looking for something?"
We are looking, and I don't know, maybe you could help us. Well, we need information. We're first time to the Dreamlands, so we'd kind of like to know our way, get our bearings, if you will. And then we need a map to the, what was it called, fellas? The Isle of Sighs?
Yes. We talked to the Pirate Queen there.
Yeah, we need to have a discussion with the Pirate Queen. But while we're here, we'd like to take in all the stuff we can, figure out what's going on here, like what brings you in particular to this place and time.
You see, as you mentioned the Isle of Sighs and the Pirate Queen, that Maribel goes a little icier. She's like, so just because I'm a woman must mean that I know where the Pirate Queen is. Of course, I would have to flee to her for protection.
Oh, no, I meant no disrespect at all. I am a feminist to my core, but
allies.
Yeah, we are
Joel put up like
spot
a
on.
fist, like in the air for a second.
Marcy's just
Wow.
making a
Bechdel
face behind
test,
them
we
both
got
and just
all-
shaking her head like, I'm sorry.
I did not assume that you knew where the Pirate Queen was. I just was asking for a map to the Isle of Sighs, and I thought that was an innocuous question, and I apologize for.
And you were the first human that we came across
Right.
here, and I don't know if you noticed, but the residents here are a little scary.
Right. The other ones, I can't tell. I don't know what they are.
She says, well, they're just ghasts. We've got a relatively good relationship with them. And she looks back at you, Cyril, and she's like, let me see your hand real quick. And if you don't offer it to her, she sort of grabs it.
proffer out his hand. Yeah.
Okay. She roughly grabs it and turns it over so your palm is up, and she looks at it and she says, so you said you were new here, but I don't think that's true. And she traces one of the lines that goes through your hand, and she says, no, I mean, you may not know this because you are new here, but humans come to the dreamland all the time. You just usually don't remember it. You have to you have to get stuck here to really remember your time here. And she traces, she turns your hand over and she sort of goes across your knuckles and looks at maybe some of the scars or anything that you might have on your hand, and she's like, you've been here before. I'm sure of it. Probably not here in the cavern, but this is the hub of many things. So no, but map to the Isle of Sighs. Would that I just had that's something that you would need to get a map maker to create, and she sort of gestures around. She's like, not a lot of cartographers around here. Could I? Your best bet would be probably Inquanuk. That's probably your best. You might. Yeah. Inquanuk's probably the only place you're going to find a cartographer who could, or maybe one of the sages could make a map there.
Okay. What I appreciate you the information. We will check in with the sages in Quantic, see if we can locate our map there. But I'm curious, what is it what kind of wares are you selling here?
And she's like, well, so again, this is the Dreamlands, so kind of everything. Again, if you have an idea of what you want, the things that I have here are filled with memories, potential, opportunities.
This is going to sound like a weird question, but can I trade in one of my dreams for another?
She says, if you kind of have to have an object upon which those dreams or potential is based. If you had something that represented that, then yeah, we could work a deal. But I mean, listen, imagination's cheap here. That's like the fuel of the Dreamlands. So objects, real stuff. That's the key.
I mean, I do have something that represents kind of my dream, but not really.
She sort of, she's got this booth set up right with a little, desk area, and she sort of pushes some wares aside, and she says, well, let's take a look.
Okay, but I want you to keep in mind that if I'm going to give this up, I need something of equal value in return. It can't just be, because this is very near and dear to my heart, quite literally. So I'll proffer it up and you can take a look at it, but I just wanted to know if it was something I could make an exchange for so that I can get what I want in the end.
Okay. Again, no, I will simply evaluate it and tell you what I can. If it's
Okay.
a sufficient object.
Yeah, and he will, from inside his like undershirt, he will pull out the organite, and he will lay it on the table.
She takes a look at it. She picks it up, lifts it, turns it around. She's like, interesting. Very interesting. This is connected to your dreams, your future, your wants, your potential.
It is to a certain extent, but it is not my ultimate dream. My ultimate dream is something more. I mean, it is a start to a dream, but I don't think that it is currently a means to an end to my dream.
She says, she nods, and she pulls out a let's see, what does she pull out? She pulls out a small clockwork bird, and she gives it a couple whines, and lets it go, and it begins sort of, walking and flapping its wings, and then a little sound. And she says, I know what you mean, but you have to understand, again, just because it's not the dream itself. She waves at the bird. She says, the bird, the dream was not to build a bird. The dream was to provide a smile to a child, to a grandchild who needed a gift, who needed something to remember their grandparent by. This bird, the value here is not the bird or the mechanisms whereby it moves and flaps and sings. It's the value is that potential connection between child and grandparent, a relationship to last that child a life, bringing values, bringing the name of the grandparent through this child because of that relationship. Do you understand why this object this object is incredibly valuable. It's probably the most valuable thing, and I have in here. But this, and she points to the organite. She says, "This is quite valuable." And she puts it sort of back into your hand. She says, "I don't know that I could provide anything that would quite match the value of that, but you take that to Inquinoc, and the sages might be interested. They could provide you something, perhaps the map. It's not easy to find a map to the Isle of Sighs. You have to have it made for you anew.
Yeah.
No two people can get to the island the same way."
I don't know if I could be. I'd be a bit like Frodo at the edge of the pit of doom. I don't know if I could throw it in just for a map.
Yes, I remember that book when it came out.
I'm sorry, when are you from?
Do you have a first edition?
Do you have a Tolkien first Tolkien's edition?
She says, "Yes, I was a young girl back in 1935."
I heard a bunch of clicking and clacking.
That was The Hobbit. Sorry. She says,
Take your time.
she says,
Take your time. We can edit this. It's okay.
she says, no.
Take your time.
There are certain things in the real world that carry such imaginative power that they can sometimes bleed over here, including the Lord of the Rings. There are a number of things that I'm aware of, and from travelers who bring them. And she pulls out, like, she picks up like a big shelf, and it's just a shelf filled with a couple dozen books. And she's like, I don't know if I have any copies of Lord of the Rings, but she's like pulling through, and there's like old versions of Dante's Inferno. There's she's got books by Francis Bacon, some of the collected works of Shakespeare.
She's got a map to Peter Jackson's lair here in the Dreamlands.
a lot of sort of philosophical, with a handful of sort of more fiction books, but all sort of classics.
A whole shelf of Dan Brown.
Yeah, yeah. She says,
Yo, is that R.L. Stein?
Are those Lee Child's books?
Published works by GRRM.
She's got a first edition of all of Dan Brown's books, all signed.
She has an advanced copy of Patrick Rothfuss's third book that hasn't happened yet.
So you're telling me is if I ever want to get a hold of the Winds of Winter, I have to go to the dream world.
This is correct.
She said, no. The dream world only contains things that could possibly be, and that will never, ever be.
That will never be.
That man's going to die before it comes out. Get over it, Tyler, is what she says, spiking the camera.
I thought you were going to pull... No, we only have things of substance here.
Yo, okay, first off, shut your mouth.
He's read some of the chapters, so there is technically substance.
There is something, yeah. All right. Well,
we'll just never finish.
Right. What was I'm sorry. I'm Cyril, and I'm just, like I said, we'll visit us here, and I appreciate your efforts on helping me.
Well, Cyril, I'm Maribel Lockright. Do either of you have anything that you would want to exchange? Anything that you're looking for in your time here?
I'm kind of looking for someone, and I think they're here. I don't know if they would have come through here, but she's woman, a couple of years younger than me. Name's Clementine. Looks a lot like me. Different hair, a little shorter.
I can't say that I've seen her. There are some women in the camp, but we mostly keep here and rely on other traders to come help us and various campers. There are explorers who come through the dreamlands, but it has been quieter lately. Aside from, the new Gug. And as she says that, in the distance, the sound of steel on stone.
What's the plan for when that thing gets close?
My plan is to pack up and run and let the ghasts handle it. They've handled most Gugs, although this one is quite big.
Do they... We'll ask them about it, I'm sorry. My companions are arguing about something while two women are talking, I'm sorry.
What? Whoa. First off,
I'm sorry,
that was meant for us. The audience wasn't meant to hear this. Second off,
did we not pass the Bechdel test?
No,
we didn't.
I only just heard about the
Behind
Bechdel
this
test
facade,
today, too.
I am a man.
It's crazy that's crazy. It's come up twice in one day, and I've never heard of it prior.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to worry you, but behind your facade, you too are also a man.
It's true.
We're four grown-ass men.
Four men pretending to be women.
I don't know how to tell you this. Bechdel test never going to pass in this group.
No. No.
Although we have been passing it pretty well.
Yeah, because we're just treating it like normal human beings.
Not once have we
crazy.
mentioned her husband or lover or anything.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, we're top-notch feminists.
We're in a bad situation. We're being as nice as we can to this.
Hey, do you know this place? And she's like, "Whoa!" Just like immediately flies off.
She's all like, "Oh, how dare you? How do I look like a fucking cartographer?" And then you ask a woman where another woman is, and nothing.
Jesus
Listen,
Christ.
all I'm saying is, canon, Cyril is a risless bozo.
Not true.
That's not true. He's got lots of
Dreamlands.
The Dreamlands, anything's possible except for Cyril getting his dick wet. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry.
Damn. I'm going to challenge that assumption.
In hell. We've hit it.
Here, hold on. Persuade check. Will you go to bed with me? There we go.
She says, "Wow, yeah, actually, totally."
Can I counter persuade?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, snap.
The lower number, but the failure is so funny to me. Oh my god.
I'll
Anyways.
uncheck it. I'll uncheck it.
Okay. In seriousness.
Locking back
Oh
in.
my god. I'm sorry, I need a second. Okay. In seriousness. I think Joel would ask her, Is there anyone we need to look out for here? Like,
She smiles and looks over at Tholan, who is currently exchanging all those things, and she says, I think you've already met the most dangerous one.
excuse me?
Ruh-roh.
She says, "Oh no, he won't harm you, but he's quite dangerous. I hope you understand. He's a legend around these parts.
We shared
the-
beans with that man.
That's not unusual. He tends to buy them by the case when we get them in. Although getting beans is quite difficult. Getting anything canned is quite difficult in the Dreamlands. Because what future do they hold?
Are you telling us beans have no futures?
No,
So-
but again, the future potential, the dreams. Not many people dream of beans. The
people
things
might.
that
There's
we get
one
here.
man out there just constantly dreaming of
What's
beans.
the God? What was the Life is Strange? You can knock off over that dude's baked beans, and then like during the final fight, he's like, "Those are my fucking beans." That guy. That's how they show up.
Well, I think we just named our episode. You can't dream of beans.
Yeah,
Not I dream of
I-
Beanie.
That's
I
what
dream of
was saying.
Beanie. Oh,
Ricky.
Oh,
Vita, vita,
you know
vita,
that was
vita.
just a decanter of like Jim Beam
Wait,
that
really?
they took the label off of. Yeah, I just recently
Huh.
learned about that. That was just a Jim Beam decanter that they peeled the label off of. And they said,
Interesting.
"Yeah, a hot lady comes out of that." Which, in fairness, a hot lady does come out of most bottles of Jim Beam. I've come to learn. If you get deep enough into it.
Ooh.
No.
You should have never let us interact with anyone.
No, you should
No.
have been like, actually, you make your way to the island side.
There's
Nothing
a cartographer right here. He made you a map already. Get on your way. That's what you should have done.
I should have. I
Anyway,
should have, but she
Yeah.
looks at all three of you, and she looks at Marcy, and she says, "You know, as long as you're here, I could spare a thing or two for perhaps a future favor. There is something that I'm in need of, and if you run across it here in your time, I would appreciate it if you could. You could leave it with Tholan. He'd happily bring it back to me, and I could give you this. Tell you what, consider this a down payment." She hands you a tiny silver bell, and as she hands it over, even though it changes hands, it does not produce any sounds. And she says, if you do go to Inquinoc, you might find it. It could be somewhere around here. I'm looking for a mirror. It's a small hand mirror, but it's silver or ornate filigree, and it is shattered and is missing a kind of triangular piece right in the top middle. So if you find that, if you could bring it back here, I would appreciate it. Does that sound fair? Is that a deal?
What is this mirror for you?
It's connection. It's a way to ground myself a little bit back home.
She looks back to Tholan. I understand. I'll do what I can. If I see the mirror, I'll obtain and pass it to Tholan and make sure he gets back.
Okay. I appreciate that.
But do you have anything that'll help us traverse over to the journey to Equinox?
Well, that might be helpful to you, actually. And she points at the bell. She's like, "It just keep it on your person, and you'll find out the time is right."
Can I make a human check on this person?
Sure.
Okay. Is a low chance. Oh, 11 under 15. Oh my god. I
Dear
just want to
Lord.
make sure it's not like, oh yeah,
Nice.
no, Gugs love this bell.
Yeah, actually, this is a Gug mating bell.
This is
Good.
a
So you don't find anything out about the bell from
no,
this,
no,
right?
no,
But
no. Just
she
her
does.
vibe.
Yeah, she does appear like, as she is warmed to you, and maybe sort of seeing Marcy, a fellow woman who seems to actually respect her, unlike the other two male chauvinists.
One just
No,
immediately just said, like, can we
Jesus.
fuck? Like, who does
yeah. You think that she is maybe, in spite of her earlier sort of. What am I looking for? Her earlier reaction, incredulity about a woman needing protection. You think that she is sincerely giving this to you, Marcy, maybe as a sort of protective measure, something for you to carry forward. That she maybe is expressing a little, pity, anxiety about your future if you continue forward. And so this is something protective that she's maybe using this find a mirror thing as a guide. She probably does want the mirror, but she more wanted an excuse to give this to you without seeming like, I'm just giving you stuff.
Yeah. I understand. Thank you so much. I'll get it back to you as soon as I can.
Oh, no, this is yours now. Just bring me back the mirror.
What do I do with the bell? Is it just keep it on me?
Just keep it on you. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Sorry about those two bozos, by the way.
Oh, no,
One-
it's okay.
One's less
we
of a
were
bozo,
nothing
and
but
I'll
nice.
leave that for you to figure out. And she turns and walks away.
She looks very quizzically at both of them, sort of back and forth.
Man,
Yeah,
it's
she's
crazy
gonna-
that you're just throwing us on the bus. We in character have done nothing.
We've
She's
done
gonna
nothing.
roll. Oh no, she doesn't know which one of you is more skeezy. Yeah, in character, you guys have definitely done nothing. That's for sure.
Which one of us is more skeezy? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we
well,
know.
I think we know. Hey, Mark,
Do we know?
Mark, I think we know.
Do we know?
I
don't know if we know.
If you have to ask,
No,
I think we know.
Can I me looking at the roll 20 and seeing which one has a scrotum hauler that he's drawn underneath his token?
Well,
No,
I
that's
wasn't.
just-
I wasn't
this is
referring to
mean.
that. I was referring to the
I
you know. Murder. part.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
That does put a negative in my camp. But
know.
at least I'm not a drug addict.
Hey,
Yeah,
you wait.
hey,
Yeah,
look.
true.
Listen.
Yeah,
Which is worse? Occasionally doing a little, heroin, or shooting a woman in the back of the head in a bathtub.
I think we
twice.
can live in a society where both of those are deemed negative traits, and we don't have to settle for either or.
No.
I'm
Yeah,
willing to say.
That's
I'm sorry. No, are you coming out as they're equally bad?
I'm willing to say that
Equal.
if I go out
Bad
and
traits that I don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole.
listen, I don't want to do coke in a bar bathroom. But if someone says either you're doing that or you're killing this human being you've never met before, I'm willing to do a little booger sugar. Okay.
But I have met them before. I mean, I'm just saying some of them make it out.
Oh my god. Yeah, and then some of them you just let down in the worst way where they're like,
some
oh,
of them I just
oh.
don't. I'm protective of, so it's fine.
Jesus Christ.
Heroin's a hell of a drug.
oh my god, damn.
I wasn't ready for that. Oh my god.
I'm leaving that in.
Oh my god!
You know what? Episode's over.
It really is. I was going to end on you
Tweet.
guys hearing the monster in the distance again, but I think we're just ending on that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great week.
Thank you for this non-episode.
Thank you once again for tuning in to Chaos Springs Eternal, a Delta Green podcast. Shout out to Arc Dream Publishing, who makes Delta Green. They've got lots of great content coming out. Shout out to Panzer Kings for Cocytus, that's our theme song. And shout out to Hideous Hiss for our background music. Make sure you check our show notes. I've linked Hideous Hiss Patreon if you'd like to contribute. If you'd like to contribute to Chaos Springs Eternal, you can rate and review us on iTunes or your podcast platform of choice. Leave us a 5-star review. Send us an email. We've got an email in the show notes, and with an NPC idea, and we'll toss them into our homebrewed campaign. If you're looking for new podcasts to put in your feed, here's one suggestion. Black Flare. They're a new podcast using the Delta Green system, featuring an FBI agent, a bookish professor, an engineer, and an OSHA worker who were unceremoniously sent on a secret mission to investigate strange occurrences in a remote Alaskan town. Whether or not they'll make it home unscathed is anyone's guess. One bad roll of the dice could spell disaster. The element of chance, a stellar cast, and original _ music work in tandem to create a suspense-filled, slow-burn audio drama that will have you on the edge of your seat well before the final act. If your interest is piqued, you can check out Black Flare wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see y'all next week.